structures to prepare journalists for their trips to the hottest spots of our planet. This is a very important mission, and first and foremost, life depends on it. One more specific feature of Bastion courses is that every federal structure involved in crisis management provides lecturers and instructors to coach the students. Namely, the Federal Security Service, National Anti-Terrorist Committee, and four ministries: Defense, Emergency Situations, Internal and Foreign Affairs. Organizations of veterans of special task forces and centers of extreme medicine also take their part. Traditionally, training of journalists is conducted on the base of the largest military training grounds. Their technical facilities make it possible to simulate situations that are maximally close to combat, artillery and mortar fire, bomb shelling, mine danger, street fighting, mass disorders, taking hostage, and so on. The fourth round in a series of Bastion courses was held on the training ground of the North Caucasian military district in the Volgograd region, as well as in a training center of an army unit of the same military district. If my memory serves me right, we meet for the third time, don't we? Alexei Maslov, General of the Army, Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Land Forces. I was proposed to run courses in the Urals next time. We are organizers, but what will journalists say after all? Shall we go to the Urals? That will do. You just have to invite us. Let's put it down in our joint plan that next year we'll go to the Urals. Everything is ready for classes right here, no doubt. I want you to study 100% of your abilities and make use of it in future.
Мина ПМН-2. Противопехотная мина нажимная, фугасное действие.
Вот таким образом накладываем жгут, и чтобы у него не устала рука, можно руку еще говорить.
Главное заход выжить.
Usually journalists are invited for Bastion courses to the town of Solnechnogorsk near Moscow. Vystrel Training Center of the Combined Arms Academy of the Russian Armed Forces provides the training ground. It is one of the largest in Europe and world-famous centers, since it prepares peacekeepers and UN observers to serve in hotspots. They showed you how to plant and detect booby traps. Do you think it will be useful for you in future? Student of Bastion courses. I won't discharge them myself, but it is very useful for me to know how to detect them. Vystrel Training Center is in fact a training ground equipped with sophisticated facilities to simulate any crisis situation. Various types of armaments, hardware and simulators provide for effective training of students. It is very important to understand the double sense of this activity. First of all, we want that journalist save his life. He should understand that he is in danger. This is yet one other aspect. A journalist must not interfere in activity of the people who fulfill their military and civilian duty defending their homeland. From the very start, Bastion courses were designed not for those only who might be stationed in combat areas. They are also run for all journalists who happened or was forced by chance to work in different crisis situations such as mass disorder, catastrophes, natural disasters, anti-terrorist special operations. Student of Bastion courses. Thanks to the special task force of the Ministry of Defense, we have enough of it all now. Instructor of Bastion courses. Do you understand what is necessary for you? Taken hostage? By no means protest, because you are in the heat of combat and you won't have a chance to explain. You are journalists, not the military. There were some instances, I saw it happen myself. Ever since their foundation, Bastion courses have been run by expert instructors representing all federal bodies of executive power, regional and local administrations involved in the project. High-class specialists, as they are, instructors, took part in special operations in various regions of the world and now successfully employ their personal experience in the process of training. Instructor of Bastion courses. Some people say that the military ignore journalists. Actually, this is not true. When we work our plans, we cannot but consider your interests and try our best to ensure your security. Our major task is to provide conditions for a journalist to fulfill his mission in the zone of special operations and stay alive. The timetable, themes and methods of lessons vary depending on the category and training skill of students. As a rule, a training program is scheduled for 5 days of intensive sessions. These start at 8 in the morning and in 12 hours at 8 in the evening they call it a day. The principal aim of intensive coaching is to train students in essential theoretical skills and practical habits necessary to save their life and carry out their duty effectively in crisis environment. Sophisticated classrooms are designed to brief students on how to respond appropriately within the limits imposed by combat actions, mass disorders, natural disasters and other extraordinary situations. Instructor of Bastion courses. When somebody begins to faint, his breath is hard to notice because it is clavicular. Apart from military instructors, an introduction to the media's own priorities is given by highly experienced national and foreign press professionals, war correspondents, cameramen and photographers. Military press officers have their say too, how to acquire information and preserve the obtained material, how to behave and file during a combat operation, what are peculiarities of protecting clothing and technical equipment of journalists in crisis environment. These and plenty of other issues are covered during Moscow. Alexei Samolyotov, war reporter. In case my cameraman finds himself in a complex situation, I should be ready to use his camera instead of him. I must know how a camera operates. I must remember what and where I can find this or that sequence. It's a must, and our cameramen are aware of it. Besides, when I work within time limits for choosing a good picture, I start to behave like a real camera myself. I can see only what my camera sees. Then a journalist behind me should become my eye. If something wrong happens to me, he takes hold of my camera automatically. I should have somebody to lean on in such situations.
Я обязан уметь с ней работать. И кто-то обязан меня страховать в данной ситуации.
Theoretical classes are obligatory, followed by practical sessions on the training ground. Students are made aware of specifications of small arms, mortars, artillery guns and minefields. They are briefed in limitations and specifics of using communications in combat area. Medical sessions are also available to respond adequately in extraordinary situations. To make lessons more effective, course delegates are divided into several training sections. Gennady Дзюба, director of Bastion courses.
Вторая группа. Карапетян, Коновалов, Заурова, Журавлев, Заволокин, Нестеренко, Юсупов, Сафаров, Кравченко, Лукина.
Please specify a training site for the first section.
Надо уметь ладить с людьми.
Alexander Sladkov, war reporter. When you join the military community, it is most important to determine who is the boss and who is the second in command, yet nevertheless no less influential. A journalist should consider it for his information needs. Once you see that somebody you need is easy to speak to, contact him with no doubt. Ask him any questions whatsoever. Don't get embarrassed at showing you don't understand the whole of the situation. Yet, by all means, demonstrate that you are interested in fathoming it out. Show him you are ready to cooperate. During the courses, students are made aware of the need to coordinate media activities in theater with those of a press information center, which operates in periods of crisis. They are also explained how to behave during military exercises. Student of Bastion courses. To take exclusive pictures at war is only half of the work done. You have to deliver it to your media. To this end, you should observe the only condition. You are to stay alive. The principal rule for a journalist at war is not to lose your nerve under fire and listen to what the military say. The prime aim of Bastion courses has always been training of journalists to act expertly in extreme environment. That is why it is based on examples from real life. In January 1995, during street fighting in Grozny, Sergei Kukushkin, a cameraman of a Russian TV channel, survived by a miracle after a sniper hit his head. The newsman made a classic mistake by coming too close to a window as he was taking a picture instead of filming from inside for security reasons. The courses equip students to observe norms of international humanitarian law, but sometimes reality turns otherwise. There is a French saying, à la guerre comme à la guerre. In extreme circumstances, where it is a military conflict or maneuvers, it's not a rare occasion that journalists have nothing to do but to mount themselves on the armor to combat vehicles. What is to be done not to injure yourself or damage expensive cameras? Practical security sessions are devoted to this issue.
В принципе, бывают ситуации, когда можно вот так вот упасть и держаться. Ну, времени нет, еще как-то бойцы.
In the course of training, instructors make extensive use of textbooks and films prepared by experts of Bastion courses. All cycles of sessions are filled and filmed for future generations to come.
От ветров и стужи петь мы стали хуже, но мы скажем тем, кто упрекнет. С нашей покачуйте, с нашей поночуйте, с нашей повоюйте хоть бы год.
It is worthy of note that Bastion delegates are provided with comfortable suites available in a hotel of the training center. Instructors representing different ministries come to particular classes or training grounds according to their timetable. Such a form of organizational procedure saves students time that might be wasted to deliver them to other training grounds. Foreign students of Bastion courses are additionally interested in the cultural program, which is natural. They are fond of Moscow sightseeing and visits to world-famous museums and theaters. It is hard to overestimate the importance of the courses today. Bastion graduates are much better prepared to face hardships in crisis environment and cooperate with representatives of special services, because it were them who worked out the training schedule and lectured the media. Those who pass Bastion courses are obviously better off from the point of their own security measures. Vladimir Vasilyev, chairman of the Security Committee of the State Duma of Russia. One of the basic principles of Bastion courses is their universality and interministerial character brought up to the state level. Graduates are licensed to coordinate their activity in crisis with any ministry outside the Russian Federation included. Special certificates ceremonially presented to Bastion students upon graduation prove it.
Выпьем за снимавших, выпьем за шагавших под огнем. Выпить есть нам повод за военный провод, за У-2, за М-ку, за успех. Как пешком шагали, как плечом толкали, как мы поспевали раньше всех. От ветров и стужи петь мы стали хуже, но мы скажем тем, кто упрекнет. С нашей покачуйте, с нашей поночуйте, с нашей повоюйте пятый год.
People say that a criterion of truth born out from deeps of theory has always been practiced. On their way home, graduates of the fourth round of Bastion courses were unaware of the fact that their main examination was well ahead. They had to face a real war. Armed conflict between Georgia and South Ossetia, 2008.
военной операции на территории Южной Осетии журналисты узнали уже с первых минут. По городу стали стрелять крупнокалиберные...
Ruslan Gusarov, War Reporter. What means a full-scale military operation on South Ossetian territory, journalists had to learn in first minutes of it. The city of Tskhinvali was shell-fired by large caliber guns and Grad missile systems. It so happened that in 2 months after graduation from Bastion courses in Volgograd, we, 5 representatives of North Caucasian Center of NTV TV company who had just passed Bastion courses, found ourselves in the zone of combat actions in South Ossetia. We were bomb-shelled, fired at, we saw people